I'm Trevor with Maker Experiment, and in today's video, I'm going to be seeing which adhesion promoter is best for printing onto acrylic. Let's get into it. For this video, I'm going to be testing 3 different options. The first one is not treating the acrylic at all and just printing onto it just like it is. The second one is going to be using the Bali adhesion promoter. And the third one is going to be using the LOGOJET adhesion promoter. These are what I have on hand. There may be more out there, but this is what I'm going to be using for my test. I'm also going to be testing 6 total samples. I'm going to be testing 3 on white acrylic and 3 on black acrylic. The reason for that is I want to do one of each test, no treatment, the LOGOJET adhesion promoter, and the Bali adhesion promoter. But I also want to test, because black requires the white base on it when you print, and the white doesn't require that. I want to see if the adhesion promoters react differently or produce different results based on whether there's a white underbase or not. I've already cut all 6 samples out on my Epilog laser, so I'm going to take those, apply the correct adhesion promoters to each one, and then we'll print them out. I'm going to start with the white. And I'm actually going to print them all at the same time, so it's the same job, should have the same consistency. They're just going to be in different spots of the bed. So first up, let's add the adhesion promoters to the pieces we want, and then we'll print those. All right, this first one is going to be no treatment. The second one is going to be the Bali treatment. And the third one is going to be the LOGOJET treatment. So I'm just going to take a little bit, put it onto my shop towel, and then just rub it on the surface, making sure to coat the entire thing with a very light coat. You don't need it to be a lot. Then the last one's going to be the LOGOJET treatment. Apply it the same way. All right. Now we're going to take these over to the printer and we will see what happens. On the bed, they're laid out the same way: no treatment, Bali treatment, and LOGOJET treatment. I'm going to show you real quick the print settings, and then we'll print them out. All right, in my print setup, I am actually going to be doing a flat print that is 720 by 1200 color only. I'm going to add multiple instances of my logo for this. I've already got all of the settings in here in the screen if you want to look at that. Going to click OK to get 3 of those. I'm going to go up to Print Setup. And then in here, if I go to the Properties and then click on Layer Selection, you'll see that I'm just going to have the color on layer 1, and that's the only thing that I'm doing here. You'll also see that it is 720 by 1200 with color. It's bi-direction print with an 8-pass quality, just so you know what's going on. And then there's also variable dot size. Now, I'm still new to the printer part of this, but as long as I print everything the same exact way for the samples, then the adhesion promotion should be the only variable. So now that I've got all that set up, I'm going to go ahead and print it and then send it over to the machine. The reason I'm printing these all at the same time in the same job with the same settings is to make the only variable the actual adhesion promotion. So now that all of that's set up, I'm going to go ahead and print the job. We'll let those sit, then we'll print the black acrylic ones, and then we will look at both of them and see what's going on. All right, the white ones are now done. I'm going to prep the black ones the same way. So no treatment, the Bali treatment, and then the LOGOJET treatment. So same exact process. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set up the black acrylic pieces the same exact way. For the black acrylic, I'm going to be using the flat, and I'm going to be using the 720 by 1200 white plus color. So this will print a white underbase on my job. I'm going to use the same exact logo, same exact 3 spots. So I'm going to click OK. And then if I go up to the print setup and go to properties and layer selection, I see that there's going to be a white underbase on layer 1 and then the color on layer 2. This will help me get better coloring on the black acrylic, just because if you try to print the colors onto black directly, it won't turn out very well. That's what that white underbase is for. I'm going to go click OK, and then I'm going to print this and send it over to the machine. So the black acrylic prints are done. Yes, I do know that I printed black ink onto black acrylic. I just wanted to make these tests as consistent as possible. It does kind of look cool though. All right, so I have all the samples printed. This is the no treatment on white acrylic. This is the Boley treatment on white acrylic. It does look like the colors are a little bit bolder. Like the blue is more blue or darker than the no treatment one. They feel about the same. The blacks, again, the Boley treatment looks a little bit darker than the no treatment. And then if I add in the LOGOJET treatment, it actually looks a little bit duller in the blue colors. The black looks close to the same. But as far as coloring goes, I think the Boley one is probably the closest to my actual colors. It seems a little bit darker than the no treatment, but a little bit lighter than the logo treatment, which is pretty interesting. Okay, for the black, the no treatment, because it has the white underbase, it looks pretty good. The Boley treatment actually looks a little bit darker than the no treatment. I actually like the color of the no treatment one on this one more. And then the LOGOJET treatment is a little bit darker again than the Boley treatment. The blacks are all about the same. They don't really look that much different. But yeah, on this one, color-wise, I think the no treatment is closer to my colors, but we'll see how they hold up. My plan for the testing is to start just by going through and trying to scratch them all just with my fingernails, and then start upgrading to like probably a knife or something to see just if it'll like scrape off cleanly without like really putting a lot of force. I'm going to run them through my sink and see how they hold up with that and see if they dull at all or if they start flaking off. So first up, let's just kind of like lightly go through them, see what happens, just see if it scrapes off. I'm going to start with the no treatment on white. I'm just going to try to scrape it off a little bit with this normal squeegee. Good news is it doesn't look like it's really coming up. There's also not a whole lot happening with it. It's pretty blunt, but good news is it doesn't scrape right off. I also have a plastic razor blade, so I'm going to just try to scrape it off. And it doesn't look like that's doing anything either. So I'm taking the edge of it and trying to actually pry it up, and it's not letting me. So that's a good sign, even with no treatment. That's pretty good. I'll do the same thing with the black no treatment. Nothing. I'm just gonna skip this scraper because it's not gonna do anything. It's blunt. I'm just going to be using the razor blade from now on. Like, it's just hitting the edges where the print sticks up, but it's not trying to take it off. So that's good news too. So it'll survive like normal wear and tear, it seems like. All right, for the Boley treatment, same thing. Just try to scrape it off. Nope. Nothing happening there. Do the black one as well. It's scratching the acrylic underneath of it that's over here in the blank spots, but it's not doing anything to the print. Both of those look okay. And lastly, the LOGOJET treatment. And these are all labeled on the back, so I do know which ones they are. Same thing. Looks okay to me. And then the black one. So far, so good. Nothing really happening from the forceful wear and tear that I'm trying to do. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it is making marks on the bare sections of acrylic that weren't printed on. It's kind of hard to capture it on screen, but you can see it a little bit. It's actually scuffing this surface, but it's not doing much to the print. Overall, so far, I like the print coloring on the Boley for the white acrylic, but I like the coloring on the black with no treatment at all. So if all of these hold up, that will be an interesting thing to try as well, is if you try the adhesion promoters, you may get different color schemes and different qualities of the color. On camera, they may all look the same, but they are slightly different in person. The wear and tear with the scraper didn't really do a whole lot to any of the prints. I'm going to go ahead and run them through my sink, see if rubbing on them with some kind of sponge will do anything, and see what happens. All right, for the sink test, I'm actually going to start by scrubbing it with a Scotch-Brite pad. Then I'm going to try using a sanding cloth. I'm going to do each one for 30 seconds. I will time it with my phone to make sure that I do every one of them the exact same amount of time, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I did 30 seconds with the Scotch-Brite pad. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. So you can see some of the print actually started peeling up. There's a little bit, it's mostly where the blue is. The black didn't come up at all. You can kind of see the spots where the print came off. There's some here, there's some right here. A lot of the laser symbol is chipping away. That's what happens with the normal Scotch-Brite. Let's go ahead and try the sanding pad. So same thing, 30 seconds. Okay, well, that made a big difference. You can see most of the blue is gone. The black is actually starting to come off. I didn't expect that to happen that much. So that's good to know. So I think it's safe to say that the no treatment one can only take a limited amount of wear. The black looks okay for the most part. There's a couple tiny areas, but not much. But the blue is practically gone. So this was the no treatment one. Blue pretty much disappeared. Let's go on to the no treatment black one. Start with the Scotch-Brite pad. Okay. So this one, remember it has that white underbase on it. This one doesn't look like any wear or tear occurred. So we'll move on to the sanding pad. So on the no treatment, which kind of rubbed off, the no treatment one, the black looks okay. It does fade a little bit. The blue is actually faded and you can start seeing the white underneath. So that's interesting to see as well. I expect this will be the case for most of the black ones with or without adhesion promoter, just because the white is what actually printed to the acrylic first. So here are the no treatment ones after the Scotch-Brite pad and a sanding pad. All right, on to the bully treatment for the white acrylic. All right, so here's the bully treatment one. The blue still looks okay on this one. There's no chipping yet like there was on the no treatment one, which is good. So we'll go ahead and jump straight into the sanding pad. Similar effect from the sanding pad, which honestly doesn't surprise me because I'm actually sanding it off. But it looks a little bit better than the no treatment. So this was the no treatment, and this one is the bully treatment. So you can see that the bully treatment did hold up better than the no treatment one. We'll see what the LOGOJET adhesion promoter does, but so far the bully one is the best on the white. Next up is the bully treatment on black acrylic. All the colors still look like they're intact. So far so good. On to the sanding pad. So here's the bully on black. The black looks okay. The blue looks a lot like the no treatment. Let me grab the no treatment. Here was the no treatment. Here is the bully treatment. Honestly, they look about the same, which makes a lot of sense because they both have a white underbase, so the white is what had the adhesion promoter, not the color. So this doesn't surprise me at all. So let's move on to the LOGOJET. Okay, and then the last one on the white is going to be the LOGOJET one. Start off with the Scotch-Brite pad. So after the Scotch-Brite, it still looks fine. No real degradation. It looks pretty much exactly like when I started. So now for the sanding pad. So this is actually pretty interesting because this is the LOGOJET after both the Scotch-Brite and the sanding pad. And this was the bully after Scotch-Brite and sanding pad. So bully versus LOGOJET. I think there's a clear winner here, that LOGOJET held up the best, especially since I sanded the crap out of it with both of these. But we'll compare them all here in a minute. Last up is the black with the LOGOJET. Again, I don't expect much here. It'll probably just wear off the blue and then the white will start showing through. That's my expectation. Yeah, so far it's still the same. Nothing really changed. So same results as the first two so far. Last up is the sanding pad. Go ahead and wipe that off. So this is the LOGOJET one. Again, the blue started fading and you can see the white behind it. The bully one next to it, blue started fading and white behind it. The LOGOJET actually had less blue come off. I'm not sure why that occurred, but that's interesting. So far the LOGOJET did do a little bit better on that one as well. But let's compare all of them. All right, here are all the test samples with no treatment in this column, bully treatment in the middle column, and LOGOJET treatment on the right-hand column. I'm going to zoom in on the white. I think there's a clear winner here. So the no treatment, all the blue is pretty much gone. The bully, some of the blue held up, and then the LOGOJET, a lot of the blue held up to all of that. So out of all three of these, if you're printing on white acrylic, I would use the LOGOJET adhesion promoter. It looks like it will hold up the longest and the best. So for the black, this one is the no treatment, this one is the bully treatment, and this one is the LOGOJET treatment. Out of all of these, in person, the LOGOJET looks like the least amount faded. It's interesting because all three have that white layer underneath, which is really what's protected by or assisted by the adhesion promoter. The black didn't really do anything on any of them, but I think the LOGOJET would be the way I lean as well. Honestly, if you're not doing a lot to these, like they're not being handled, no treatment would work too. But overall, if you're going to be using acrylic, if it's going to be, let's say, handled a lot, or it's going to be outdoors a lot, or it's going to be seen some kind of wear and tear more often. No treatment is kind of off the table. It'll fade much more quickly. The Bully I still wouldn't use. It had the better coloring for the actual print, but I think you can adjust the coloring that you get out of it. The LOGOJET is the clear winner because it's the only one where my logo is still intact when it comes to the white acrylic one. So I would recommend going with the LOGOJET treatment. It is the LOGOJET UV Adhesion Promoter, but that's the one that I would go to if you are printing onto acrylic. I wasn't actually expecting that to occur. I wasn't expecting the sanding pad to rub off the majority of the others and the LOGOJET one to hold up as well as it did. I expected all of them to kind of disappear, which was interesting to see. But if you are going to print on white acrylic or even black acrylic, it looks like the LOGOJET UV Promoter would be the one to use. I'd probably use it out of precaution all the time. So hopefully this video has been helpful and enlightening. It was for me because I'm about to print on a couple of acrylic signs and I want them to hold up really well. So I'm going to make sure that I use that UV Adhesion Promoter with the LOGOJET one. So I'm going to make sure I use that LOGOJET UV Adhesion Promoter when I go to print those signs, just to make sure that they hold up as well as they can. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that you know when I come out with new videos. I would like you to put in the comments below what other adhesion promotion tests you'd like to see with different materials. And be sure to follow me on Instagram @MakerExperiment, where I share things along the way. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.